Hello and welcome to Loppy Loves. If you haven't been here before, my name is Lauren and on this channel I talk about my life as an immigrant living in Iceland. So it's been a while. I think it's been a month since I last uploaded, and there has been reasons for that which I'll get into. But 2 weeks ago marked 6 years that I have been in Iceland for, which is crazy. It's a long time and I can't believe that it's been that long. So this is just my 6 years in Iceland video where I'm just going to be talking about what has changed in my life over the last year. But before we start, I need to give a shout out. Thank you so much to Victoria Waters for your coffee donation, and I think this is actually the second time that you have bought me a coffee and I really appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for your support. If you would like to support what I am doing, you can buy me a coffee if you like. It's not an obligation. The link will be in the description below. Okay, so just a few years after my 5th anniversary in Iceland, I got my driving licence. So we're already off to a good start. I finally got my driving licence in Iceland. I do need to confirm my licence. So in Iceland you get your licence and then at least 12 months after you've taken your test, or up to 3 years after you take the test, you need to have a session with your driving instructor just to confirm your licence and make sure you didn't pick up any bad habits. I am going to put mine off for a little bit because I didn't really drive over the winter because we had such a bad winter. But yeah, I got my driving licence, which is exciting. And then about 3 weeks after I got my driving licence, my boyfriend and I took a trip around the Ring Road, which is the road that goes all the way around Iceland. It's my first time ever going around the Ring Road, can you believe it? And it was my first time in the east of Iceland, and I drove a lot of it because we were taking turns to drive. And I actually picked up my first hitchhiker. I have never been in a car where someone has picked up a hitchhiker. I was driving, there was a hitchhiker, and I was like, can I pick up this person? My boyfriend said yes, and yeah, it was fun. I did experience my first family death, unfortunately, since moving to Iceland, and it was the closest person in my life, so that was really, really difficult and made a lot of last year very hard. But the one positive, you can call it that I will take out of that was that I wasn't in Iceland when it happened. I was actually in the UK staying with the person who unfortunately passed away. Yes, so it was my grandmother, and I always stayed with her when I went to the UK, and I was in her apartment when it happened. She was coming home, but I wasn't very far away. She was just down the corridor, so I ran for 10 seconds and unfortunately saw the scene as well, which was not very nice. But yeah, so that happened, and it's not a very nice experience, but I hope that I don't have to experience anything as traumatic as that again. And then the day after my grandmother's death, I tested positive for COVID for the first time. I had managed to avoid COVID completely, and then that was the first time I got COVID, and I was very, very ill that time. And then a few months later I got COVID for the second time in Iceland. So twice in the space of about 6 months, and the second time we weren't very ill. My boyfriend had it as well, but it did go on for a long time. So I think the first time I had COVID, it lasted for about 6 days, but I was very ill. The second time, we had it for 8 or 9 days. It was a long time that we were testing positive for, but we were not that bad. There were a couple of days that we felt ill and had no energy, but we weren't too bad, you know, considering. And we actually managed to clean our entire apartment for a few days, which was nice. And I think it did us both good actually to have a bit of a break, you know, just a bit of a rest, because it had been a very difficult year. Yeah, so the second time it wasn't a bad thing, I don't think, except for the fact my mum visited. So she had to stay in a guest house when she was coming to visit because we were both testing positive. And also so that we can try and get all of the bad stuff out of the way in one section. We also had suffered a loss on my boyfriend's side of the family, a family member. So we've gone through a lot in the last year actually. It's been a difficult year for us. And now back to more positive things. When I came back to Iceland after my grandmother had passed away and I got COVID, I moved in with my boyfriend, officially. I technically moved in with him the day before I left to go to England to visit my grandmother, but yeah, when I came back, that was when we officially moved in together, and I registered my address as his address. So that was exciting times, and I think also very needed. So I had a support system at home all the time. And a lot of the rest of this video will be about my education, my business. There's been a lot happening this year. I took part in 2 Christmas markets in December, which I used to do markets when I was a teenager, selling my jewellery, but I hadn't done it in Iceland because I don't know, as a foreigner, I feel like I'm taking up space that I'm not supposed to be taking up, and I know that's ridiculous, and that is all in my head. But it was intimidating and scary to do this in Iceland, so I hadn't applied for anything. And then I saw that there was a last-minute Christmas market with FKA, which is like an association for working women, so it's women with their own businesses and women in management. I wasn't a member, but I am in the group for the New Icelanders branch of it, which is the branch for foreign women. And they said that there was a free Christmas market happening for anyone. You didn't have to be a member of this association, and I just went for it, completely unprepared because it was with like 2 weeks notice. I did that, met so many people, so many amazing people, new friends, new connections, some incredible business women that I have admired their businesses from a distance for a while. I got to meet them in person. And then because of that, I got invited to do a second market a few weeks later, with one of the organisers was holding another market. And yeah, it was just an amazing experience, and I am definitely going to apply for more markets next year because that first market gave me the confidence to do it, and there's been a great reception to my business because of that. And as a direct result of that first market going so well, I am now a member of FKA. I joined, I think, the beginning of March. I wanted to join in January, but I couldn't afford the membership fee then, so I put it off for a few months. And I haven't been to any events yet, but I am looking forward to going to some events and networking and getting a lot of help with my business. I also started my silver jewellery diploma with Jewellers Academy in the UK. It's a distance learning course. I already have a jewellery qualification higher than what I am currently studying, but I wanted to refresh my skills, and this course also is especially for jewellery business owners. And I have learned a lot. I felt really weird about doing this course because it's a lot of money that I'm paying monthly. I already have a higher qualification, and I didn't know how it would go. I've tried distance learning before. I am really bad at it, trying to find the time and having to motivate myself to do the work, but it's going well. I am now just over 2/3 of the way into it. This is the last term, and I'll be doing my final project this term, which I'm really going to push myself to do something amazing. I am planning to make a tiara, which is very ambitious, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm so glad that I did it. I'm so glad. Again, it's expanding my network. I am meeting some amazing people, learning some great skills, and I am so happy that I did it. My boyfriend is enrolled on this same course starting in September, and in September I will be going on to year 2, which is the fine jewellery diploma, and will be more money for me to pay every month. A couple of months ago, the community fridge that I have wanted to start in Selfoss for about 2 years finally came to fruition here. There was a lovely woman who contacted me on Facebook and helped a lot in setting up the fridge, and there was a lot of members of the community that volunteered their time, local businesses volunteered materials, and it's doing really well, and I'm so happy. I go to clean it once a week. One of the local bakeries is donating food on a weekly basis now, like the leftovers at the end of the day, and it feels amazing. The community is getting a lot of help from this, and I feel like I left my mark on Selfos. This next one is interesting. Something I never thought I would have to do here, and something that I'm sure a lot of foreigners never have to do in the country that they move to. A few days before the 6th anniversary of me coming to Iceland, I had to testify in court for the first time. There was one time when I was a teenager that I almost had to testify in court in the UK, but the defendant confessed before I had to testify, so that didn't go ahead, luckily, because I was terrified of it. I was told, I think 2 days before the court case happened, that I would be coming in to testify as a last minute witness. It's not a serious case. I'm not going to say anything about it because it's not resolved yet, but it's not serious. But I was asked to testify, and I came to meet the lawyer the afternoon before the case, so it was less than 24 hours before I had to testify, and we did the meeting in Icelandic, but I told him that it would be best if I could testify in English so that, you know, I don't make any grammatical mistakes and I don't struggle on any of the questioning. And I was refused to be speaking in English. I had to do it in Icelandic, and I was shocked. The lawyer just told me, no, this is all in Icelandic, it has to be in Icelandic. If you understand everything that I'm saying now, you can testify in Icelandic tomorrow. And I was shocked. I was like, okay, this is different because I can understand everything you're saying now, but under the stress tomorrow, it could be different. You know, if I don't sleep well as well, for example, it could be different. And also I didn't want to misunderstand any of the questioning. So I am still a little bit shocked about that. But it was okay in the end. I did have to ask them to repeat things a couple of times to make sure I got it properly. But yeah, that was an interesting experience, and I hope I don't have to do it again as well. And finally, as a result of the FKA Christmas market, which has just helped my confidence so much in so many aspects of my business, I applied for a programme that the FKA was helping to run in collaboration with the University of Iceland and the American Embassy. And I did a business accelerator course. I applied for it the day before, or the night before the applications closed, because I'd only just heard about it. I thought there was no chance that I was going to get a place on this programme, and then I got in. So it was a free business accelerator, doing an American business course called Dream Builder, and then also having lectures in Iceland, in Icelandic, about running a business and networking events. And I learnt so much. I met so many great people. We had mentorships, life coaching. There was just so many great things about this programme. And I graduated 2 days ago. I got my diploma in, and it was amazing, and I can't believe that I got onto it. This year there were over 70, I say women, some of them were like groups of women, over 70 business ideas that applied, and only 25 got a place, and I got onto it. And it's finished. And a fun story about Friday when the graduation happened. My boyfriend and I were running late to the graduation ceremony, but nothing in Iceland ever starts on time. So they said it would start at 3. We were like, probably won't start until 3:30 at the earliest. They just want people to get there. We got there about 10 minutes late. Had to open these big doors into the room that the ceremony was taking place in. Quite a lot of people turned around when we opened the doors. We walked in halfway through a speech being given by Katrín Jakobsdóttir, who is the Prime Minister of Iceland. We didn't think it was going to be that big of an event, but apparently it was. But luckily I didn't miss the chance to walk up on the stage and get my certificate and a nice bunch of flowers. And actually yesterday one of my friends on the course, she sent me a link to a post on the Prime Minister's Facebook page, and there is a picture of us all with the Prime Minister on the page, which is amazing and surreal. Yeah, so that has been amazing. So glad that I took the opportunity and didn't just skip it. And I never would have taken that opportunity if it wasn't for FKWA. So I am really happy to find this wonderful community of women. So as I go into the next year of living in Iceland, yeah, in a year's time, it'll have been 7 years in Iceland and I will be eligible for citizenship, which is what I wanted when I moved here. I just wanted to get my citizenship whether I liked living here or not. And I feel like I have more freedom after if I ever want to move abroad or need to move back for an emergency or anything. I'm not planning to leave Iceland, but I will feel more free to be able to do that. And I can't believe how fast the time has gone. So within the next year I will be preparing my documents to apply for citizenship and taking the exam, the Icelandic language exam, to get my citizenship. And I'm also thinking in the autumn I will maybe go to like a summer school programme in the Westfjords, which is like an Icelandic language summer school to help you really improve the language in a short amount of time. And yeah, I think there's a lot of exciting things coming over the next year. So I hope you like this video. I will be posting more regularly soon now that this programme is finished. I do still have my other schoolwork to do, but I will be a bit more free with my time. So I hope you have a lovely day and I will see you in the next video. Bye!